Okay, take 3. So, I'll just do it different this time and start with the signs first. Hi, these are my signs. Please look at them. They may become important later, what they have to say. So, anyway, I pulled a card from the Shaman's Dream Oracle deck. And it was Perfect Storm, number 44. And the funny thing about it is, when I was putting the cards away, 2 more kind of jumped out, and they were Will-o'-the-Wisp, number 62. And 6 and 2, if you add them together, is 8. Stand by for this. And then the 2 fell out, so the other one that fell out was Eye of the Needle, number 17. 1 and 7 add up to 8. Isn't that handy and tidy and 8ly? That's 3 8s. So this, I'll get back to details on this card. Let me get through the first card. Hopefully the camera won't click off again. So, that means my storage is full. I have to keep going and getting rid of stuff, and I don't like to do that. Yes, it makes me a bit fretful. So, the card that I pulled initially was the Perfect Storm. And I pulled it and looked at it, and the first thing that came to mind was, yes, Perfect Storm. And I was like, oh, okay. So, the subtitle on this card is The Courage to Step into Life. Couple of things about the Perfect Storm, or Perfect Storm, because for me and a lot of people, I'm sure, Perfect Storm conjures up immediately the movie The Perfect Storm, which stars, among other people whose names I cannot remember at this moment, Mark Wahlberg. Right. Link to Perfect Storm trailer. And then for anyone who, for some reason, is not familiar with that movie, they can then look it up. And then I also pulled a card from the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit Guide deck. And it was the Cosmic Egg. And it it also rings very true with the other cards. But that is, I'm not there yet. But just wanted you to know that yes, there's also yet another card. So the thing about the Perfect Storm is, like, kind of in every aspect of life right now, I can find a way that it applies. In the sense of the movie, which it's, I mean, it may be understood for people who have not seen the movie that the Perfect Storm is just a meme, but what the meme is may be understood, and it's that perfect is like the absolute opposite in, I don't know, sarcastic, ironic, meaningful, or meaning of a word that it's shoot, it doesn't tell you the truth. It's kind of false, because perfect, you think, oh my goodness, everything's great, everything's as it should be, just how you want. In this case, it's more perfect for the storm and in all of its destructibility. So deceptive, that is the word I was trying to conjure up there. It is a deceptive word in that context. And also, I mean, I think on here it means the context that I said, like, oh, the perfect storm. Like, yes, it's a storm and it's destructive, but if you will notice, Oh, where is my indicator? I just had it a second ago. Where the heck did it go? There it is. If you'll notice, this bird, who I'm gonna say is like just a model, an avatar for like the collective us. Although you could certainly take it personal. In its heart, there's a lot of stormy turbulence happening. So inside and outside, which is awesome because you can see on here, like, if you were to personify as this black bird, you're sitting in a storm and you're also feeling it inside of yourself. It's, for me, like a metaphor of how the inside of you can come outside and penetrate the world around you to not always great effect. Like, the people around you, if there are any, might not appreciate you bringing this low vibe to the party, you know? I mean, it could be anger, it could be sadness, it could be anything else that you could potentially, like, infect other people with that they would not necessarily want, like an emotional measles type situation. Or you choose a disease. I don't want to get too, you know, I don't want to pick the one with the worst symptoms. I guess I'm trying to say, we all know measles can be pretty easily survived. It's the cases where it can't be treated or anything is where any disease can get dangerous. So anyway, and the bird is looking off, which is weird. It's looking off as if it's trying not to be attached to any of the situation going on inside of it or around it. And I wonder if that isn't, like, well, one way to go. I mean, if you're, like, together in a way, you oh boy, I don't know if that was the way to start it, but I'm just gonna go with it. If you're together, in the spiritual sense, like, you have sort of dealt with your karmic issues as much as in the way of like facing your problems, and I feel like once you start doing that, well, for one thing, you want to do it again once you complete it the first time, but it feels good to get to that place where you had this emotional issue that was kind of messing up your life in a way. And when you become aware of the fact that it's messing up your life and the reasons it's messing stuff up are coming out of something from you, and then you go even further and examine those things and sort of resolve them so that you're not like this when you walk into the rooms where other people are that don't necessarily appreciate you dragging that in, you know, like, no dropping turds in the punch bowl is what I'm saying. So, I mean, that's one way you could go. You could look at this and say, okay, well, I haven't really dealt with my problems at all. Or you could go the stoic route. I know better. I don't know why I always do that. If you're going to go the stoic route, though, you are going to be like the bird, kind of looking off as if it ain't no thing that all of this is happening around me and also inside of me. You're just going to be a dispassionate witness to what's happening. And I don't know who these Stoics think they are, but that seems like something that wouldn't be conquerable in your lifetime. Like, it would be so hard. And I actually, luckily, got a viewpoint on that perspective before, like a couple of weeks ago. And I just remembered I was watching I think it's the Awaken By channel, BY, and it's got like philosophy sort of from the Eastern perspective. And I got a text that screwed me up. Oh, so I'm watching it one day, and the guy's talking about how to basically exist in a situation like this and have it not affect you at all. And I thought, and this is coming from like a Buddhist Hindu leaning channel, spiritual principles. And so it's an idea that, I mean, if I could achieve it, and it even says in the video, it could take a whole lifetime to achieve this level of concentration, really. And so let me tell you what he said. He was talking about meditation and being able to concentrate. And he said a way to practice that skill and perfect it over the course of a lifetime, I guess, is to pick an object to visualize on when you're meditating. And I don't know why, if he said this or not, but it just popped into my mind. With your eyes open or with your eyes closed, the lesson is to learn how to concentrate only on this one item, regardless of whether your eyes are open or closed, because the point is to concentrate on the one item and nothing else, no matter what else is happening around you. And so that concept both intrigued me and pissed me off, because I'm like, that sounds like I can't even do it, dick. Why break it up? Why get interested in me, dick? So, yeah, it's just like, I guess this guy, in the video, the object was an orange. So I guess this bird person, I don't have my words. This avatar can concentrate on the orange. More power to you, bird. The other thing about this bird, though, is like blackbirds. If you look up like the spiritual significance of a bird or a blackbird, they will a lot of times be referred to as messengers. And well, that's certainly a message it's been given me just now. There's like a I don't know what this kind of lightning is called, but you'll see it in like volcanic eruptions. I guess it's like a static charge type situation, and it seems like there's one of those sort of shooting out of the bird's chest there in the center of the spiral. Get that glare off of it. But if you notice, I thought this was a leaf. It was kind of silly. It's not leaf colored, sort of leaf shaped, but anyway, that's a feather. And it's sort of, I thought it was like being hit by the lightning coming out of the chest, but it isn't. I don't know why that's important. I just felt like it was a feature that needed to be pointed out. Yeah, this bird is like completely unperturbed, and it's not like saying anything. The beak is closed, but the messages all came out. So I'll read the guidebook real quick, or regular speed. Perfect storm, an invitation to act now, to the courage to step into life, sheltering from turbulence. When the perfect storm appears, it cautions you to be ready for an exciting, if turbulent, time. The winds are picking up, and you need to make sure that you are close to the eye of the storm, or you will be buffeted by gusts of winds that may take you far from where you need to be. That sounds like distractions to me. Notice how the loose stuff is starting to fly around, and recognize how little of it you truly need. That's interesting. And it made me think of, like, I think a lot about how much stuff I have that I don't use because I don't like need it every day on a emergency basis. There's tons, like, I'm not even sure what I have that's I'm going to say missing. It's not missing. I just don't know where anything is anymore because, well, just reasons. But stuff is put away and out of sight and out of mind. Like, under those circumstances, I could see how you could be like, well, I haven't even seen or thought about this item in a long time. Why do I still have it taking up space? Just a thought. Okay. The key is to remain centered and balanced and bear witness as the forces build in intensity. Notice how notice how the loose stuff is starting to fly around and recognize how little of it you truly need. Let go of these thoughts, beliefs, and attitudes that clutter your heart and cloud your mind. The storm will be absolutely perfect for you to just blow all of that stuff away. If you wonder what you might lose during the perfect storm, know that it is those things we are most attached to that are taken first. As if life were trying to unburden us of our righteous self-importance. Well, go ahead and take that. Nobody needs that. It's annoying. I mean, you can be righteous, but you don't have to be a snot about it. Let it all go with the wind. I'm thinking of a person in particular. That's why that answer just came flying out. Anyway, the less you resist the change brought by the perfect storm, the happier you will be. Ride the winds to your next destination. Embrace the rain or snow. Remember that every time you try to argue with nature, you lose. The perfect storm can also be a call for you to seize the moment. There might be a great opportunity that you need to take advantage of right now. Carpe diem. Seize the day. Here, time is of the essence. I mean, that's so true. Like, sometimes you just have an opportunity come along and you can't, like, screw around and be like, I need to think about it a little. It's a storm. It's going to blow through. You maybe don't have time to think. You got to, like, decide now. And personally, I've had those opportunities come up a few times in life where I've been like on one track and pretty entrenched in it, and then even as that entrenchedness was sort of wide-ranging, came across another opportunity to go, hey, look, new great sparking thing, want to drop everything and do this instead? And I couldn't do it. And if I didn't have a life involved, just my cat at the time, I would have gone. I would have said, you know what? Yep, I'm going to leave all my crap where it is and start over. You think about all of those different potential timelines that could have sparked. The timeline I'm at home with all my stuff left there, including the poor kitty, which I didn't do that, by the way. I don't know why I'm all sad that I left the kitty. I didn't leave the kitty. I went back home. But had I done so, I would have been sad about the cat. Like, they are little beings. Like, when you leave, what do you think they think? Have you seen the cat or animal videos where people, like, rescue the abandoned pets and they're so sad and heartbroken that they just can't trust people anymore without a lot of work? Guess what? That happens with people, too. Guess what? That happens with your pets. Guess what? Yeah. And then, the people, it's kind of worse because they can articulate their resentments. And if you leave bills and belongings on people, and especially when they weren't that famous on you in the first place, bad mojo. So I didn't want to do any of that. And I felt bad, like, sorry, opportunity, can't take you up. Got responsibilities, like, you lose. So, I mean, that seizing the day, seizing the moment, like, I would have left behind like a bunch of stuff, like a trail of stuff in my wake. But what would have the future been had I diverged? Well, it could have been interesting. I don't know. I won't know, unfortunately. So the next card I pulled was Eye of the Needle, and the subtitle on this card is intentionality. Now, I wrote intersectionality on my guidebook page here yesterday when I pulled the card, just because I knew dang well that wasn't what it said, but it impressed itself upon me so hard that I wrote it down. And then today when I came back to this, I looked at intentionality and saw internationality. And that actually plays into, I'm not going to write it on the card, but it plays into what I'm heading toward here. So, this card actually has a lot going on, and I'm gonna say that it reminds me of like the needle is like the needle god, the god of power, because needles are you need them in order to stitch time, as in fate, if you get my drift. And so I want you to notice the features of the needle itself on here. The needle has 4 little arms that are holding needles. That's like fractal and psychedelic weird and cartoon, excuse my language, but fucked up. There is an eye in the needle. I thought the hole was the eye. I didn't know the hole was like eyelids. Apparently that is. In this illustration that is saying more than what I just said. It's not just about the 2D appearance of it. It is also like that eye. That's like a well-developed human-like eye. It could be of another creature than human. Now, I don't have a good look at what the pupil does when it's dilated that way, but it does seem to be dilated. The dark part is larger than the color of the outer part, which would be the eye color, I would imagine. And the other thing about it is, it looks as if the sun went right up to the needle and went, you know, like, oh, you can't see that side. It's just like squinting and you can't see that side either. Look at, yeah, there you go. Like this. That's how it looks like. Somebody's up to the needle and they're squinting to see through that tiny hole. And the someone looks to be a whole star or sun or something. And look, there's the other eye. But isn't the perspective strange? Is it like it has to turn its head? It's so big that it's like turning forever before it gets to the next eye. I mean, look at how far away that looks. Like you'd just be turning for days before you hit the next eye. Planets are big. Bigger than we tend to think about on a regular basis. And it also has I have to think of words for this. It almost looks like some sort of biology, but it also looks like some kind of sacred geometry. And it's here on the sides, and it seems to be a manifestation of whatever the star is doing. And I feel like it's just taking a peek through the needle. Like, I don't think it has any plans of going through it. I think it's just kind of trying to understand the concept of such a small space. And what I saw also when I looked at this, I thought about what this eye was seeing through the eye of the needle. And what came to mind was not gonna make any sense, but there was a style of animation in the 70s, like in Sesame Street, you'd see it a lot, or in Monty Python. Well, no, that was different stuff, but okay, so let's go with Sesame Street. And it was sort of like a not a rainbow, but a shading of colors the way a rainbow might be drawn or illustrated. It just is not in that rainbow slash chakra, actually, color scheme order. And it's not that same color scheme. What it is like pinks and purples, lavenders, lilac, very light blue, very dark blue, purple, that sort of blues range of color. That's what I saw the eye seeing. I don't know what the heck that means, but well, I mean, I have a feeling of what it meant. And what it meant was just like all of these like various shades of success and abundance, and pick one, it's gonna be good, just came to mind. So I guess like look through the thing, pick a shade as your avenue, and that's gonna be good. Like whichever one you pick, it's gonna be good. If you look, okay, so I'm gonna read this about the needle. And did I mention that it's number 17? If you add 1 and 7, that's 8. Once again, we're 8ly. Okay, so I have the needle. Intentionality, clarity, positive outcomes. If you look through the eye of a needle, what do you see? Summon the experience of being so singularly focused on the task ahead that it becomes natural to remove everything that is superfluous, every distraction, every non-essential, so you succeed. Okay, right up front, that's like, do you ever look at the eye of a needle and think about, I don't know how widespread a thought like this would be if you're not like a Christian that would have run across this particular, I'm just going to say, blurb from the Bible about a rich man, it being very difficult for a rich man to pass through the eye of a needle. And by rich man, take along with that everything a rich man would have, like all of the possessions, all of the people and their possessions, all of the real estate, all of the material stuff that maybe while the storm is going, your most important things, the most valued things that you're most attached to are trying to fly away. How important are they if at the end of life, at the important time when the bugles are sounding, you can't get through the eye of the needle, which you maybe have to pass through to get to the other side with all of your junk? Like you have to, jettison some of your crap, because again, it's like rich people having 5 and 6 mansions. Well, how many can you live in at one time? In the here and now, you only need the one thing. I know if you're rich, you want to look ahead, or even if you're not, you want to look to the future and try to take preventive measures against like potential harm, like things that you have to avoid, like seasonal natural disasters, or seasonal natural disasters, or national disasters, like votes that people decide that they don't like the way we did it, so they're just gonna poop on it because there's no other way, and they're gonna try and violence it into reality, and that didn't work either. So it's like maybe you're carrying a little too much baggage to get through the eye of your needle, pal. There don't have to be just one needle, there could be a needle for every person out there trying to do stuff. Purposely vague. Okay, what is, in this case, the definition of success? it was talking about in the previous sentence, getting rid of all of your non-essential junk so you can actually fit to pass through the eye of the needle. What is, in this case, the definition of success? In order for the threading of the needle to happen, everything not in alignment with your goals needs to go. It's got to go. This is the only way you'll get what you need. Shrewd discernment, the willingness to winnow down the needle thread connection to its essence. Really? No, just like discard all of your extra, unnecessary garbage that you think you have to have. Like, you probably don't need it. Like, if it's a pair of shoes or a purse that you use every day, then that's something you obviously need. The stuff that's just moldering away, stored, how needed is it? When was the last time you used it? What is even there in the storage place? Do you know? Is there something you haven't seen for a long time? Why is that? Have you not needed it? Where is it? Do you know where it is? If you do not, then how important is it to you? You know what I mean? Like, I have been making those connections lately, and then seeing the stuff all over the place too, in different forms, like reminders of, just put it out there. Maybe you should tidy up. Like, maybe you have too much extraneous crap that's actually slowing you down and not helping you. I have and am at a place where having certain things is like meaningful. Maybe not always for the best meanings though. Stuff that we have to winnow down so we can fit through the space that becomes important in the end. Ultimately, it's important. The eye of the needle looks so tiny, but once your intention threads through it, a vast opportunity is presented on the other side. The needle can mend, can sew things together to make something meaningful and new. I mean, if you recently divested yourself of some of the many things that you have, it might be interesting to see what you end up with and what good it could be to you, like what use it could be. And if you do manage to pass through the needle, I think it's important to understand, even if you didn't read the Bible passage and get that meaning, that story with the whole moral and everything in it, you have learned that you don't need all of the extra crap that you're carrying around for perhaps appearances. I do know why designer stuff was on my mind this morning, on a personal level, but it made me think about this, that the importance of the designer stuff is, to us, to me, is strange. But it's a huge deal. We know the names of companies, designer companies, because of models that we admire for their looks or their physical, well, that would be looks too, but people weird stuff that we admire that we don't really have a true attachment to, like celebrities, like Kardashians. People want to have lives like them. They will try to physically reproduce things they admire about people, but that's their thing, though. That's what we kind of don't understand, and it doesn't serve, I don't think, what we think we want when we pursue something that is already something else, somebody else's something, and don't appreciate the things about us that maybe they need to be developed. Maybe we feel like, well, I don't live up to that standard, or I don't meet that. But I mean, if you feel like you're lacking, you can do things about it, I just think, obviously you heard, I'm all a little weird about the designer stuff. I can appreciate it. if it's any good. And see, I do have some scorn for the designer stuff because I have seen a bunch of it like right in front of my face, and I can't believe how much of it is cheap crap. It's like you are giving so much power to this label, and God, it ain't even really worth what it's supposed to be in quality. The one company, designer company, that I will raise a hand for in solidarity or appreciation is Coach. And the reason why I can say this is because I have a Coach purse that it was given to me, but the quality of it, I was so surprised having seen other famous designer brands. I'm not going to name names. I don't need to be a dick about it, but it's like mass production, I'm sure, is the problem, because it's not special, it's not a treat, it's not, you lose the quality if you try to like mass produce. That's true in any case of any product I think you could find. So I guess I'm just like, I don't want to like give my approval and be the sponsor of something that I think is junk, that I think is like air, like there's nothing to it. And the third card I pulled was Will-o'-the-Wisp, and I did not pull the guidebook from it because I pull this so often, and it's not about the guidebook anyway. It's about the dimly seen like lights and object that you can barely make a form out of with your eye, that you have to kind of, don't be afraid to go in and see what that's about. Like, go ahead and go in the dark, be a little freaked out, be a little like, cautious. You might work your shin. There might be some creature in there, if like that's what you want to dream up, that's gonna get you. But at some point it's gonna amount to a treasure to you, because treasure's hidden in the shadows. Shadows and darkness is not always what we think. I just heard something recently that at first it didn't make sense, and then it made a lot of sense when I applied it in different ways, and it was that a person that loves the color black has the most active imagination. Well, I mean, I gave it some thought, and there's a lot of people that like the color black or wear it all the time, different groups. And if you look at those groups with that thought in mind, like, why is this person wearing that color, you will come up with different meanings. And that's an interesting sort of diversion to go down if you're interested in that kind of thing. If you're just bored and I don't know. So darkness, we make it scary, and it does tend to converge around subjects that we are fearful of for whatever reason. But it's not, it's what we're attaching to the color. I had my own black period where it was just like, only wanted to wear black clothes, and everyone was like, are you depressed? What's wrong with you? It's like, no, it's punk rock, get off me. Some people attach things to colors. I was telling true. So I'm going to talk about the cosmic egg. I'm going to give you a look at it. It has the serpent with all of its various meanings spiritually and such, and the egg that it's holding. Both, it looks like it's gentle, but also like in such a way that it's trying to be structurally safe to the egg in case of breakage, like it wants to prevent that, which is good because it doesn't look fully formed. Like whatever's happening inside that egg, it seems to be just, I guess, a constant emotion, a constant of motion. Jeez, spit it out. So I'm going to read from the book. Completion, harmony, infinite within the finite. The cosmic egg is the final card in the Journey of the Animal Spirit deck, and it represents the unfolding of cosmic consciousness. That thing you get when you decide to discard all of your garbage so that you can get through the needle, because that's important to reach the other side. Harmony. Oh, I don't know about you, but that's what I would like to see, like, all around me, in my life, in my not life, just in what I encounter as I move my life through other lives and the world. I mean, I think I have definitely had enough of violence and bad feelings toward each other, towards strangers. That doesn't even make sense. How do you know? You don't even know. You just are like making it up, basically. You heard some stuff, but truly, you don't know the reality of someone until you actually experience them for yourself, or that life, or whatever the thing is that currently is not your experience. So just keep that in mind. You kind of don't know what you're talking about at all until you do it. It's all hearsay. And that don't count in court. Yeah. The cosmic egg is the final card in the Journey of the Animal Spirit deck, and it represents the unfolding of cosmic consciousness. This state emerges after we have tread the path for quite some time, and through self-effort and grace we experience self-realization. A sense of contentment and oneness spontaneously arises within us, and the veils of our self-limiting beliefs are lifted. When the essence of the cosmic egg has not been activated, we may feel as if we will never get there, or that we travel alone, disconnected from others. You know, the thing about, the getting there, there's no getting there. It's always the going. It's the whole thing. The whole thing is the journey. Even when we die, we haven't gotten there. We've just moved on to another thing, because, well, I personally believe in reincarnation, and as far as religions go, I believe they all have something in there that they talk about it where it's talked about like it's a real thing. And if you don't have a religion and you're, I don't know, an atheist or whatever else there is that's not religious, I don't know what to tell you. It's like a framework for talking about it, but I think the same thing happens when everyone dies, regardless of what you believe. The physical body dies, and your spirit energy, your soul, gets to move on and do some other thing. So that is just my belief on it, though. Even if our encounter with this card is brief, appearing as a momentary glimmer or flash of interconnectedness, intersectionality, intentionality, internationalities, all those interweaving, as they do, the potent energy stays with us. The cosmic egg is a remedy for the fragmentation of modern life. What? Let me see what else she's saying. It's through the power of this card that we are reminded of the cosmic contract written at the beginning. We hold on to life, and life holds on to us. That doesn't seem like the same sentence. What did I just do? The cosmic contract written at the beginning, hyphen, we hold on to life, and life holds on to us. The journey is complete, but does not end, like I was saying. The meat body is complete. The meat's complete. Stick a fork in it. The cosmic egg and the seventh chakra. The subtle essence of the cosmic egg resides at the crown chakra at the top of the head, called Sahasrara. 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 That's what it says. One of the aims of yoga and meditation practice is to channel the energy from the base of the spine upwards to the Sahasrara. Each of the 6 lower chakras play an important role along this journey, and once the final epicenter of consciousness is activated, it is said to radiate the light of 1,000,000 suns. We'll put on your welding goggles for that one. Okay. So, the 3 8s on these cards. When you add the 3 8s together, you get a 24. And what the 24 significance seemed to be is, well, it's a perfect number, which meant that every number that can be contained in the number can be broken down numerology style and then re-added, and if they add up, like if all of the divisors that can add up to the ultimate number of 24 in this case, if that can happen, then that makes it a perfect number. So that's one thing. It stands for completion and harmony. So in the terms of like what I've talked about even just here, your ultimate goal when you start to become like super conscious and able to distance yourself emotionally, like I'm not saying don't feel the emotions, like I'm not saying don't be emotional, I'm saying don't let them rule you and like take over your life forever. Like eventually, like the getting over it has to begin. So and wallowing in like the thing that hurt us, like, you know, you have to come to terms with it, because things don't hurt us. We allow ourselves to be hurt by things, and that's us giving those things power. So I mean, if you have issues with that kind of thing, looking at it from that angle could be helpful for you. I know it was for me. But when you start to become conscious, the ultimate goal is peace and harmony and love, because love is the thing, and everything else that is happening that we're doing is a distraction. It's for amusement, for edification, for education. It's just to learn to be and feel everything. And I'm sure there are individuals that have that feeling themselves, but as fractals of the Great Spirit, we're just, it's like, this is going to sound weird, but it's feeling itself out. It's trying to understand where it comes from, or where it's coming from, or all of it, you know? I mean, and that is kind of mind-blowing in itself. Like the ultimate Great Spirit creator being not really that sure of itself has to like take a minute examination and, you know, go through all the permutations of what, you know, this being is and can do and can become. All of the bees. So wow, I don't know about you, but my scalp's tingling on that one. It's like a lot to think about. But it's also important to remember that not everyone is thinking along these lines. And so in that case, and really in any case, we should really just like cut each other a break and not be so hard on each other. And that's a lesson that I've been having to learn like every day lately. But learning it, though, that is the good part, because well, it's important the way we treat each other. Thank you and good night.